لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
The Ottoman Dawla was Maturidi. The Muhammad al-Fatih, he came into the city and conquered the city. The Prophet praised him. He said, Ni'mal Amir. He said, Ni'mal Jaysh wa Ni'mal Amir. Ni'mal Amiru Amiruhum wa Ni'mal Jaysh Jayshuhum. What a blessed Amir is their Amir, and what a blessed army is their army. He was, by consensus, Hanafi, Maturidi, and Naqshbandi. So the Prophet was praising a Hanafi, Maturidi, Naqshbandi. And people say, Bid'ah, Mubtada'. Astaghfirullah. Would the Prophet praise a Mubtada'? He would never praise a Mubtada'. And yet we know he praised the conqueror of this city. He said, Ni'mal Amir. Ni'ma is the way the Arabs say the best. That's the best Amir, their Amir. And he would never praise worldly things, not like he was a great general, which he was. No, he was praising his Iman. He was praising his Aqidah.
So you heard Hamza Yusuf present the argument of Muhammad al-Fatih, being Naqshbandi, Maturidi, Hanafi, and using the hadith of فَلَنِعْمَ الْأَمِيرُ أَمِيرُهَا وَنِعْمَ الْجَيْشُ جَيْشُهَا, that blessed be the leader and blessed be the army. So he's deducing from this that this means that Muhammad al-Fatih was praised, hence his Aqidah was also considered. Now, I'm going to sort of discuss this in greater depth when I respond to that man, obviously, because he had some points that I need to respond to, so I'm not going to sort of repeat it, so I'm going to leave that for that particular video. But nevertheless, let me just add something, okay? Let me just add something. No one's denying Muhammad al-Fatih was a great leader, no doubt about it. And his achievements and his, his contribution to the Ummah is just undeniable, let's put it that way. But what I'd like to ask him is this, Hamza Yusuf in fact, okay, your paymasters have been responsible in defaming the Ottoman Empire. Recently, the Emiratis, along with the Egyptian counterparts and the Saudi counterparts, created a series similar to Ertugrul, in Arabic obviously, called Mamalik and Nar, Mamluks and the Fire. And to make it brief and concise, it depicted the Ottoman Empire as animalistic, bloodthirsty barbarians, which in essence, obviously, it was the Najdi Dawah, if you want to be completely honest. But we'll deal with that in another video. And I'll show you the poster. So here you go, you've got Mamalik and Nar. I presented Hamza Yusuf talking very highly of Muhammad al-Fatih, and obviously we have no issues with that. What I will show you is that basically when you're invested and you are part of this program, which is the Emirati program, you can't really speak back to your masters. They created a scene, okay, which will show you Bayezid II, who's the son of Muhammad al-Fatih. They created this scene of him being drunk, okay, of him being drunk at the grave of his father. Look how they depict the Ottoman rulers. Bayezid II, by the way, is the one that saved the Muslims and the Jews from the Reconquista when Frederick and Isabella, I think it was, or was it Ferdinand and Isabella, I can't remember, when they were kicking out the Muslims after taking back Al-Andalus, they sent ships. Bayezid II, I think it's called the Wali, he sent ships to bring the Muslims and the Jews into Muslim territory, which is the Ottoman, states, or the Ottoman lands, in order to give them refuge. This is the ruler we're talking about. And look how the Emiratis, Hamza Yusuf's paymasters, depict Bayezid II as a drunkard, drinking at the grave of his father and cursing his father. And this is one of the scenes amongst many that really portrays the Ottoman caliphs or the Ottoman Khilafah in very, very negative light. Have a watch.
الملعون.
So you watch that absolutely disgusting scene where Bayezid II, the son of Muhammad al-Fatih, is drunk, drinking alcohol at the grave side of his father, and he's cursing his father. Says, La'natullah alayk ya abi. Curse be upon you, my father, and curse upon your rules or your justice system, etc. And called him mal'oon, called him the cursed one, and spat at his grave. Okay, this is how they portray the Ottoman caliphs. Now, Hamza Yusuf, I'd like to ask you a question. Okay, I'd like to ask you a question. What's your thoughts on this? Okay, because you're the person that's going to naturally be angered by this, wouldn't you? You're going to be angered by this. I'm angered by this. You're a Sufi, quote unquote. I'm going to show you your insensitivity later of certain events that have happened in the Muslim world, and we're going to highlight it, because at the end of the day we've got the books. We're going to show you that you're half-baked, so don't worry about it. We've got that coming as well. We're not going to let this go with your half-hearted apology, and we'll show you what I mean. So what's your thoughts, Hamza Yusuf? I encourage you now, because you're the one that defended Muhammad al-Fatih. I'd like to ask Hamza Yusuf now, do you disagree with this, by the way? Because I think you should be vocal about this. There's no way the Muslims should allow a series to depict the Ottomans in such disgusting ways. Now it's clear that you might be getting some nice little incentives. Let's see where your principles lie now, because this is an Emirati created series. The BBC did a segment on it. It mentions that the Emirati series, Mamalik an-Nar, the Mamluks on the Fire, has angered the Turks. Okay, has angered the Turks. So let's put this out there. Are you a man of principle? Okay, are you a man of principle? Because this whole series, I'm just showing you one little scene from the series itself, making the Ottoman Empire seem as worse as the Mongol Empire. Honestly, it's really bad. So let's see where your allegiances lie, my friend. Now, before playing this video, I want to issue a disclaimer that Hamza Yusuf apologized for these comments, but I want to show you is that the apology was really a half-hearted apology. When you really dissect the words, you would think to yourself, you know what, you were better off not even issuing this apology. So it was in connection to his comments regarding the Syrian people and the thawra of the Syrians, the Syrian revolution. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment on it, but at the same time, after comment on it, I'm going to show you his deception as well. Then I'm going to play his apology and then connect it to what he said. And we will show you that, like I said, the political compass, isn't it? The political direction. He'll follow whatever suits him and his interests. Have a listen.
How's that revolution looking for you? Huh? You know what the slogan of the Syrian revolution was? Who knows what the slogan was? Huh? Sha'b Suri ma bandhal. The Syrian people will not be humiliated. That was their slogan.
You heard Hamza Yusuf make those comments. Okay, I'm going to sort of play each segment and then respond accordingly. So first and foremost, again, let's get this out there before all the fangirls and fanboys start getting upset. That no one's denying Hamza Yusuf's knowledge, no doubt about that. But we can see practicality when it matters. We know where his allegiances are. So number one, you see the sarcasm, you see the chuckling, you see the cheek. Okay, first and foremost. And I'll show you his apology video as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a hypocrite. I'll show you. And I'm going to show you the words he used. Very, very shrewd. Okay, anyway. So he mentions, obviously, has a revolution going for you. And smiling and chuckling. Now, this comment is just again, Habib al-Jifri did it with the Uyghurs.
لأنه ببساطة القيادات التي أصدرت القرارات السيئة ضد الإيغور لم يصب واحدة منهم بالكورونا.
He does it with the Syrians, and then they only come out and apologize when they get called out. When the people are like, how dare you, then you know what, we apologize, and half-hearted, but we'll show you his video. I keep saying that at the end. Now, how dare you smirk and chuckle and be sarcastic at our brothers and sisters' misfortune? That's number one. We'll get to your apology video, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how your apology video was half-hearted in the first place, and show you how you half-baked hadith as well. Don't worry about it, we've got it all coming. So this is the point, that Habib al-Jifri, the other charlatan, the bootlicker, when he made comments about the Uyghurs, smiling and chuckling. Oh yeah, the Chinese, you say they're afflicted as divine punishment, but none of their rulers who make the evil decisions have been afflicted, and starts laughing. Okay, as you watched in my previous video. He now laughs and smirks. Shows where your allegiances are, mate. Bootlickers, that's what you are. Let's carry on.
They're all shouting it in the streets. Now, all these poor innocent people are begging non-Muslims to let them into their countries. They're fleeing across the ocean in boats. Allah can humiliate whomever He pleases. Man ahana sultan, ahanahu Allah. If you humiliate a ruler, God will humiliate you. That's a hadith in Tirmidhi. If you humiliate a ruler, God will humiliate you.
So you heard, okay? So now he's talking about humiliation. So what he's implying is that the Syrian people are humiliated. Bear that in mind as well, because he presented a hadith to justify his comments. So when we present his apology video, you will see that what he says in essence totally contradicts his initial comments. And this shows that this was coming straight. The way Jifri was saying it, with no filter, this is without any filters. This is what's coming deep from within. So he presents a hadith, okay, in a Tirmidhi. He mentioned that himself. So it was convenient that you missed out the whole context of the hadith. And number two is, what type of rulers, if you connect it to another hadith, what type of rulers was this referring to? Let's just get that out there first. We got Sunan at-Tirmidhi. This is the hadith that you were quoting, okay? So as you can see, hadith number 2224. It states that Ziyad bin Qusayb al-Adawi قال كنت مع أبي بكرة تحت منبر. He said, I was with Abu Bakr under the minbar. Okay? And he mentioned that Ibn Amir, that he was given a khutbah and he was wearing a nice garment. Okay? Very nice. So, فقال أبو بلال, Abu Bilal said, look at the leader, or look at the Emir, wearing what? Clothes of fusaq, clothes of like evil people, wickedness. فقالوا أبو بكرة uskut. Abu Bakr responded by saying to this Abu Bilal, be quiet, for I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, Man ahana sultan Allahi fil ardi ahanahu Allah. That whoever insults Allah's sultan on the earth, Allah would disgrace him, okay, or humiliate him. Okay, now here you go. Sunan at-Tirmidhi. Sunan at-Tirmidhi. Also, if you connect this to another hadith, as you can see, I've got in my hand, Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, okay, and this is hadith number 460. This is the Musnad of Uthman bin Affan, and it's a lengthy hadith, but Uthman bin Affan mentioned that he heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, Man ahana Qurayshin, whoever tries to humiliate a Qurayshi, ahanahu Allah, Allah will humiliate him. So let's get to the context. Hamza Yusuf. First and foremost, if you look at the hadith in its context, it mentions that Ibn Amir was given a khutbah and he was wearing nice clothes. Okay, thiyabul riqaq. He was wearing nice clothes. And then Abu Bilal said, okay, look at our Amir, yalbithu thiyabul fusaq. He's wearing nice clothes. Okay, nice clothes. So when he was criticizing the Sultan, awalan, it's not a valid criticism. One cannot criticize and try to humiliate the Sultan by calling him fusaq. Is Bashar al-Assad a fusaq? Or from the fusaq? Of course he is. He's an awalan kafir, Nusayri, and thaniyan, he's a zalim, taghi, he's a oppressive tyrant, okay? And thirdly, he is butchering his own people. So someone criticizes Bashar al-Assad for his policies. Are you making a comparison between Ibn Amir, who's given a khutbah wearing nice clothes, and Bashar al-Assad, the kafir Nusayri, who is slaughtering his own people for over 10 years? Okay, go figure. Okay, so look how you just took the hadith out of its context. And then if you connect it to another hadith of Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, the Musnad of Uthman bin Affan radiallahu anhu, and if you connect it to the other hadith in Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, it states, Man ahana Qurayshan, whoever humiliates a Qurayshi, okay, ahanahu Allah, Allah will humiliate. Hamza Yusuf, you cut and cropped the hadith, didn't you? One can criticize Bashar al-Assad, and he is a mal'oon. He is a person who is disgraced. So how have you connected that and applied it on Bashar al-Assad? When if you went back to the hadith, it was talking about the ruler, the Amir was wearing nice clothes, and that person, Abu Bilal, tried to humiliate him and criticize him by calling him a fusaq. So look how you took that out of context, mate. Look how you took that out of context. And then you try to imply that the Syrian people have been humiliated because of that, because of that hadith, where in essence the Syrian people have gone haven't gone against the hadith. Oh yeah, the Emiratis pay well, don't they? Let's continue.
Why? Because the Prophet said, "Al-mu'minu la yudhillu nafsahu." The believer does not humiliate himself. Ahmed Zarruq said, when he attacks a ruler and he's not capable of doing it. In other words, they have power, you don't have power. If you attack them, you humiliate yourself.
First and foremost, Hamza Yusuf, the Syrian people wanted reform. When they went out in Dar'a, when they went out in Halab, they wanted reform. Okay, that was the whole position and the reason why the Arab Spring took its root in many of its countries. First and foremost, may Allah have mercy upon the Tunisian brother Muhammad, Allah yarhamu, because through his oppression what he did when he burnt himself, this is what sparked the Arab Spring. So may Allah have mercy on you, Akhi Muhammad. And the Syrian people didn't want to topple the regime. They wanted reform initially. But then what happened, Hamza Yusuf? The Shabiha and the Khanazir of Bashar's forces started open firing on protesters. So it's not. So why are you bringing this and connecting it to the Syrian people? Number one, it's just insensitive, very insensitive.
And this is not because Muslims are inferior to non-Muslims. It's not. It's not. It's just circumstances. We've been moribund for a long time. We've lost a lot of wisdoms that we had. We have terrible treatment of our women. We don't raise our children properly. We have horrible school systems. We have widespread corruption. These are all the realities of the Muslim world. What did the Prophet say? وَلَكِنَّكُمْ غُثَاءٌ كَغُثَاءِ السَّيْلِ. You're fluff. That's how he described us.
Please quote the hadith again. The Prophet mentioned that the people or the Ummah will come together against us like they come like you have a dish. Or kama qal, and then the Sahaba radhiyallahu anhum said, we will be small in number, and the Prophet says, Bal antum kathirun, that you will be huge in number, but you'll be like the foam or the tyrant of the sea. And then the end of the hadith, I think the Prophet said also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove their fear from their hearts. And then at the end, the Prophet says that the reason why is because حب الدنيا وكراهة الموت, that you love the you love the world and you fear for death. So that's the hadith in context, and look how you just went, because you will be the foam. And we're not denying that, this hadith, potentially might be the case that we are the foam, okay? But look at the reasons why, because we love the world and fear death. So you see, he didn't apply the hadith in its appropriate context.
So how do we change that situation? It's all there, but no. This is just quietism. This is what the Sufis say. Just worry about yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. What does Allah say? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum naran. Save yourselves. Because you can't save anybody else if you haven't saved yourself.
You see his comments, you see the intent. That's what I want to get your attention to before we play his apology. The intent there, this is quietism, this is what the Sufis say. Because you so-called Sufis are just as bad as the Neo-Salafis. What selfish rhetoric is this? That, and on top of that, he presents an ayat which says, save yourself and the family from your family from the fire. But we're talking about a conflict, a travesty where the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are being attacked and oppressed. Is this how you apply ayat of Allah Azza wa Jal on a catastrophic event or catastrophic conflict, and say just save yourself and the family from the fire? Save yourself and the family from the fire. What happened to the collective Ummah? What about the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are one body, etc. No, save yourself from the family. So it's misapplying it. Yes, we talk about a conflict that's going on for nearly 10 years that's involved so many different parties, and Syrians have lost their lives. Hamza Yusuf is basically saying, yeah, just save yourself and the family from the fire. Don't worry about the rest, to save you and your family from the fire. It's just so insensitive that it's absolutely baffling. So, this is what the Sufis say. Yeah, because your Sufis are nothing but bootlickers as well, and insensitive towards the causes of the Ummah. So now what we're going to do is play the apology now, okay? Because now people can argue, or from their side, but Haji, he already apologized. The way Jifri apologized, apparently, after making fun of the Uyghurs and making takfir of them, and basically saying that they're responsible for their own catastrophe because the Chinese leaders are not, caught with corona, but they have. Absolutely, shocking. So let's play his apology.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be upon all of you. I'm addressing an issue that arose a few days ago on the day of Ashura. Somebody, I think, uploaded a clip of a part of a longer discussion from a rihla in 2016 in Turkey, which was during the period of the attempted coup in Turkey. And unfortunately, I went into an area, I think, that I really regret, which was speaking about the terrible tragedy in Syria. And I think what troubled me the most was that the clip actually had the title that I was mocking the victims of a horrific, I think one of the most unjust things that we've seen in our lifetime. So anybody that would suggest that, it was so odious.
It's so odious to you. Mate, you were giggling, you were smirking. So why would that be odious to you? The title was completely accurate. You were smirking, you were being absolutely cheeky, and then you got the nerve to say, yeah, well, it was odious to me, how someone could do that. Right? Is this the start of your apology? Let's play your cheek first. Let's play your sarcasm first.
How's that revolution looking for you? Huh? You know what the slogan of the Syrian revolution was? Who knows what the slogan was? Huh? Sha'b Suri ma bandhal. The Syrian people will not be humiliated. That was their slogan. I would really ask forgiveness for anybody that misconstrued that or took offense from that, because that would never be my intention. And I also want to say that there is in no way that I can determine why things happen. Only God knows.
Did you just listen to what he just said there? He said, pay attention. I really would ask for forgiveness for anybody that misconstrued that it took offense from that. What do you mean misconstrued? You were giggling, you were smirking. What do you mean misconstrued? They didn't misconstrue, we didn't misconstrue anything, mate. You were smirking, you were laughing, you were giggling. So how do we misconstrue it? We judge what's apparent, mate. We did not misconstrue anything, my friend. And then the video carries on, and obviously he asks for forgiveness, and then he mentions about his teachers, etc. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to play all of it, but what I can say is that for those who can read between the lines, let's put it this way. Let's go into it. I really would ask for forgiveness for anybody that misconstrued. Once again, Hamza Yusuf, no one misconstrued anything that it took offense from that. Misconstrued. So are you saying that we didn't hear what we heard, or didn't see your actions and your sarcasm and your cheek? You see what I'm saying? Habib Jifri laughing and smirking at the Uyghurs, by saying, okay, well, the Chinese leaders didn't get afflicted and the Uyghurs got afflicted. I'm sorry, I'm not taking this as a valid apology. Yes, you apologize. I'm just saying that it was all circumstantial, the way you were speaking. It was just like, yeah, you got caught. The people saw through your absolute disgusting comments, and at the end of the day, to me, you're just a bootlicker like the rest of them, mate.
كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر وكم كرهت مصابها لكن رأيت الخير يسكب في أنا كم مرة قد ضقت من عظم البلاء بشر وشيطان يحاصرني أمام كم مرة قد أظلم الدرب ضحى وتحدر الدمع وضاقت بي رؤى. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أسى محن تمر وكم كره